Hey, good evening, Let's Talk Family. Good evening, Let's Talk Family. And tonight we have a very special guest. Actually, a special show because I usually don't do shows on Sunday night, but it's something I have time now, and Sunday night's a good night. Weather was fantastic for most people living in the Northeast today, with a little rain, but I have a very special guest. This young lady, like I told her earlier, she has a lot of substance. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get into everything that she's doing, everything she's been through, everything that she's trying to accomplish in this short period of time that we have tonight. However, we will definitely discuss some things, and without further ado, Miss Aisha Carroll. Miss Asia
Hi.
Carroll. I keep saying Aisha. I
Yes.
know it's Asia. I know it's Asia too. It's
Yes,
just
thank you.
the way that the way that your name is written is a little different. So a person will be like looking at it like it says Aisha. No, it says Asia.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. I really appreciate it, Quentin.
Well, we have so much to discuss. Explain to the audience something about yourself, your background, and you know, we're gonna discuss your authorship and your organization, but I want you to explain to the audience who you are.
Sure. So, I am a beautiful soul that is here to help others heal. My journey started kind of painful. And, I grew up without my biological mother and father there, primarily in my younger years. Um, my biological mother has struggled with addiction her entire life, up until, I became an adult. Um, my biological father actually assaulted my mom to make me and created me. So I was born as a result of sexual assault. We were homeless a lot growing up. We did not have food to eat sometimes. We lived in homeless shelters. I experienced and witnessed domestic violence on so many different levels. As a young child, at the age of 8, I became a mother, not because I had to have a child, but because I had to take care of my siblings and my mom. So it was an experience growing up, but as a young child, I always knew that this is something that I'm going through and it's not going to be permanent. And I have to create my life to be what I want it to be, not what people told me it should be.
I Asia is she's a podcaster. She's in the field of podcasting. So what I did is I went over some of her older podcasts to get a glimpse of her life. And I was listening to one of your podcasts, and I want our show to be more of just me and you chatting. I don't want
Sure.
it to be like, oh, he's asking her just a bunch of questions. I want us to really have a conversation.
Absolutely.
And I was listening. You were talking about how your best friend didn't even know what you were going through.
Yes.
How
Um,
how was that? How was that growing up? Because I'm a young man that I went through some things as a child as well.
I understand. It was challenging. I had this image that I created for myself. Okay. I had this fantasy that I projected to the world, opposed to my actual reality. And so anytime people saw me, I was always smiling, even though my smile hid secrets. They didn't see the secrets behind my smile. I was always positive for the most part. People didn't know I was homeless. When I was in high school, my best friend did not know I did not live with my biological parents
Mm.
until like maybe our senior year of high school. People just looked at me like, oh, she comes from a good home, she's a good student, she's really timid and quiet. They had no idea I was battling like with my own life and with suicide and with rejection and with battling with low self-esteem. I didn't even believe I was beautiful. So it was a challenge to open up that part of myself to people. And then I was so used to people leaving me. So
Hmm.
as a result of the abandonment that I experienced, I was not I was not I was not real with myself, so I couldn't be real with other people.
Wow, that I'm gonna ask you,
It should be a the survivor. It should be survivor, not by chance.
survivor, not by
Yeah,
chance.
no worries.
Excuse me.
No
I'm all
worries.
over the place.
No worries. It was a challenge growing up, but I I just knew, like, when I watched shows like The Cosby Show and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, those types of shows gave me motivation. Thank you. Those types of shows gave me inspiration that, like, yo, college exists. you know you can go to college one day. You can be more than just a statistic on welfare with 5 or 6 kids. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that's what my life was destined to be, based off of the generations that came before me.
Let me ask you. I mean, I see. Sometimes we sometimes look at the finished product.
Mm,
It's like that cake, that birthday cake or that wedding cake. It come out, you be like, you see it presented. Got the fondant. Somebody done dress it up, and you look at it and be like, dang, this cake is
mm-hmm,
magnificent. But
mm-hmm.
nobody knows went through with making this cake. And
Right.
to hear you talk about looking back at your journey now, do you think that you felt like, and it's hard because it's an amazing accomplishment just to you, as you so eloquently used the name of your podcast, just to survive that for a young adult, a,
Thank
a,
you.
a a kid basically who really shouldn't have to worry about surviving. It should be more of, let me just figure out how to get through algebra,
Right.
you
Right.
know. And your back. Did you feel like your back was against the wall?
I felt like this was something that I just had to do, honestly. Because if I didn't do it, no one else would. And in my book, I don't really share a lot about my siblings because, you know, I've accomplished so much on my own. And sometimes with siblings, there can be competition, and I didn't want to have any competition when it came to me writing about my story. But growing up, when I had to take care of my siblings, that was hard. Like, I couldn't focus on myself. I couldn't focus on school. Like, I'm grateful that I had the ability to be intelligent and to just, things came to me easily for the most part. But I was going home, like walking my sister from school, looking for her when she got lost, trying to make sure that she was home, cooking, cleaning, at 8 and 9 years old, not knowing where my mother was. She would go missing for days at a time and we didn't know where she was. I had to be that person.
Wow. I mean, and then you didn't decide to just say, I survived a rough childhood. You continue to, as we would say, undress and pull some of the layers back into some of the trauma and, as we would say, dysfunction that you were around and had to get through. So let's talk about the name of your podcast.
Sure. So the name of my podcast, as well as the name of my business, as well as the name of my Instagram and Facebook accounts, is Survivor Not by Chance. And I'm going to just share with you guys how I came up with that. One day this was before I even started my business. I was just like, I need to change my Instagram name. I don't know why. I just felt it. And it was like, at that time, I was not aware that I was spiritually awakening into what the universe was telling me and shifting me into different energies. And so I just went with it. I'm like, I survived a lot of stuff. And I survived not by chance. I survived because I fought to survive. And so that's where Survivor Not by Chance comes from. And our slogan is, we survive not by chance, but we survive because we fought to survive. And it was a lot of work, a lot of challenges to get to where I am today. So many people tell me not to, my story is not that great. I shouldn't share my story and all of this. I don't give two shits about what anybody says about my journey, because my journey is helping so many different people. And we have to get to a space in our lives where we're not focused on what people feel about us, what people think about us. If you know your purpose, you know your destiny, then you just have to go with it.
I always tell people, and this may be some of me that I don't share with because of the type of guest that you are and what we're talking about. I don't really share a lot of myself with the show unless you know me
Mm,
really, really personally. And I always tell people, uh, and two of my closest friends who are like my brothers, they agree with me when I tell people this. I always tell people, I don't know nobody who had it rougher than me as a kid.
mm.
And I could just say this after reading and listening to some of your story, we have a lot in common.
Wow.
We really, it's funny that our connection, a lot of mutual friends, which I was
Wow.
surprised.
Yeah.
So I noticed you have I'm very observant. You have a lot of young ladies who really, really share their stories with you and
Yes.
and, and really open up. How is that? Like, you try, like you said, you don't mind sharing your story, but you try not to go there, and you might have your interview face on and ready to go. And then the interview and on the show gets very emotional.
Yes, it does. I'm grateful that I have a huge following of women as well as men, who have experienced a lot of the things that I have experienced. And they connect with me because I'm real. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to pretend and make believe as if I'm having a great day when I'm not having a great day, you know? And I connect with them on a level where they understand I understand them, and they understand that I know their pain and their experiences, and I'm able to help them be authentically themselves. And the problems we have in this world is that a lot of people don't allow people to be authentic. They don't allow people to just be them. And learning to allow people to just be themselves in their own space allows me to be more in tune with myself and to be in my own space. And that's why when we on the show, a lot of my viewers, they are emotional, and I share my emotions with them as well. If I feel emotional because they're being emotional, I'm going to be emotional. I'm just going to be me authentically.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta, as they say, you gotta protect your chakra, right?
Yes.
And be able to, sometimes we may not realize that people can benefit from your experience. A lot of people will get numb to it and be
Yes.
like, "Oh, this is what happened," or I this is normal behavior that I grew up around, and it wasn't trauma, so I
Right.
could deal with that, and I'm good now.
Right.
How is it? How do you go about it now? Like, all the stuff you've been through, you don't try to like take it into your life now, but you are who you are. This
Mhm.
is what basically made you, as we would say, tough and can handle it. How do you go about like not wanting people to know your story, but wanting people to know like my journey is the reason why what made me who I am.
So, there's like so many ways I can go about answering this question. um, One, I always had something inside me, which was my spirit, that always told me, this is not your permanent destination. This is not your permanent destination. And I'm very intuitive. Like, part of my business, I am a spiritual leader, and I lead a lot of people spiritually in regards to readings and different things like that, because I've always had that gift since I was a child. And so I would hear different sayings like, this is not permanent, you're going to make it out of this. I would have dreams about, this huge house that I was going to live in. Um, and it was an old house, and it had all these secret compartments. And every time we were be homeless, now that I'm recalling, I would dream about that house. So spiritually, I was connected at such a young age. But as you become an adult, we kind of stray away from it a little bit because of all of the programming, from the world. And I was a Christian when I was growing up, and I was super religious, and it did something to me. But needless to say, I always had something in my spirit that told me this is not going to be it for you. So you have to keep going. You have to keep pushing. And then I at an early age, I was setting goals, and I didn't even know I was setting goals. I was manifesting. I didn't know that I was manifesting. If we needed food, I would say somebody's going to bring us food. I would just start thinking about it over and over and over again. And then an aunt or a cousin or somebody will drop food off to us. So it's about being spiritually connected with yourself.
Hmm.
That's what got me to where I am. And I share my experiences because me sharing my experiences is helping someone else get to their next destination. We need more motivation.
So you would be considered a world renowned author. Well, let's talk about the world renowned and why I said it.
Yes.
Explain to the audience why I said a world renowned author.
So I've sold my book in 12 different countries. I thought it was 10. And then when I looked on Amazon and I checked, I was like, oh, wait, I got two more countries. Okay. So I didn't even look at it in that light, but I have sold my book in 12 different countries, even in its rough stage that it's in. Me being an independent, self-published author, people can relate to my story across the entire world. And I felt that when I was a kid, but I didn't know the impact until it actually came into fruition.
So did you have a moment? And we'll talk about the title of your book. I'm gonna keep that from the
Sure.
audience for a second because I have a little funny thing about the title of your book. But
Okay.
did you have a moment, like you said, when you looked on Amazon and said 12 countries? Like, did you pinch yourself and like I did it? Did you have that moment where you looked at your organization, you looked on your website, and you just got emotional and like, yo, I'm doing what I need to do.
I've had quite a few moments, honestly. And the other thing is, like, when it comes to my website, like, I'm so humble. Some people think that I'm arrogant because I'm confident. Seeing a Black woman confident, they assume that it's arrogance when it's not. So let's be
Mm.
clear about that. But I am a very humble person. I don't speak about all of the accomplishments that I've done in my life.
Why not?
It's just a part of me because I'm still setting goals. I'm still creating new goals and finding new things that I'm like, I have to tackle this. I need to do this. I need to be in this space. I need to, so I'm constantly resetting, reorganizing, restructuring my goals. But I did have a moment where I was, when I did see the 12 different countries, I was like, oh my God, like that's so dope. Like, people like, oh, I wrote a book, but how many countries you sell your book in? Like, let's go there.
Yeah.
People try to downplay me sometimes because I'm so humble, I'm so meek, but I don't throw my accomplishments in people's faces either. So, that's the humble part. Like another moment I had one of my friends helping me with my website. And she was like, girl, do you know you've had almost 500,000 people view your website? I was like, what? 500,000 almost? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Half a million click that button. I mean, and because you're in the podcast world, we sometimes we judge ourselves a lot on analytics and
Yes.
numbers. So
Yep.
we'll look and be like, okay, this was going on, and then you'd be like, oh, I'm not doing as well as I want to do, or what I'm putting the effort that I'm putting out. So I know when you saw that 500,000, like a half a million, clicked at least your website, I know you was like, wow.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it now, like, because, being from where I'm from, and remembering some of the things people told me about myself and about what I was destined to be. See, this is why you cannot listen to other people about who you are. You cannot listen to other people about who you are. Because if you listen to other people about who you are, you will never be who you want to be.
Mm, mm. Perfect segue. I grew up in New Jersey, but I live in Pennsylvania and coal miners area. So this
Wow.
goes to the title of your book
Mm,
because what does coal get? What do you get from coal? You get a diamond. Pressures of becoming a diamond.
yes.
Wow, what a title! Let's talk about that title.
So I had a different title. I had a situation with a book that I wrote that I had issues with the publisher. So I was like, you know what? I don't. Can I be just raw and vulnerable and like real on here? Because I just be real. Like I don't like.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
go.
So I was like, fuck that. I'm not listening to what they said. I'm going to write a whole nother fucking book, which I did in 30 days by
Wow.
myself. I wrote it, edited, and published it on my own. Not to mention, yeah, there's some grammatical errors and sentence structure issues, but for the most part, my story resonates. And when I wrote the book, before I changed the
So that
title,
publisher must didn't really understand your story was authentic. Like you don't close no door on me because I'm coming and I'm gonna kick it open.
boom. So
Wow.
I I was trying to think of who I am, and my experiences. And I was having a conversation. My daughter was 13 at the time. And let me tell y'all, I'm raising a queen that is going to be so phenomenal to this world. Shout out to my daughter Nevaeh. Shout out to my son Teron. I just got, I'll never shout them out. So but um and we were having a conversation and she was like, what about diamonds, mommy? Something with diamonds in your book. And I'm like, I don't know. So then I thought about it. I'm like, diamonds go through a lot to be who they are. They're so valuable. They're worth so much depending on how many carats it is. Most people love diamonds. I don't know not a person in this world that does not like diamonds or love diamonds or have any kind of inkling in when it comes to not liking diamonds.
Hmm.
And so I thought about the process it takes for the diamonds to become who it is. And it goes through all of this, like the coal and those minerals, it goes through all of this fire, all of this destruction, really. It could really like
You
diminish the
could yeah,
diamond,
you could wind up destroying the diamond
right? It
in the
can
process.
destroy it. But yet they still through that process become so unique. Each of them have their own shape, their own quality, their own essence is so different. No one diamond is alike, but yet
Wow.
they're so valuable. And so I thought about my story and I'm like, wow, I've been through so much hardcore shit. Like, I need to be able to show people with the title, though you go through hardcore things, it doesn't mean you're going to stay in that situation. Think about the process of how diamonds are and how they're created. And then everybody wants it afterwards. Like
Yeah.
celebrities. Think about some celebrities. They're like, oh, I remember this person. We went to high school together, but you didn't talk to them in high school. You treated them like shit in high school. Now you want to know them. Same process when it comes to diamonds.
Mm. Yeah, I thought when you told me the title of the book, I thought that was remarkable.
Thank you.
Because you're right. What a diamond goes through, the whole process is very interesting and is 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 as abundant as it may appear. Diamonds are very rare on the face of this
Mhm.
earth. I mean, you may have a cut of a diamond,
Okay.
but an actual rock with a carat. And if anybody understands diamonds, you could actually cut a part of the diamond with it where you would lose its
Yeah.
value, and you could destroy a diamond too.
Yes. Yes.
So on to your organization, which
Yes.
is Survivor Not by Chance, right?
Yes.
Explain the program.
Sure. So I have several programs, and I have I wear several different hats. So I am a certified life coach. I am a author. I am a motivational speaker. I go to schools and speak. I go to events and speak at events. I have my own group of followings where people follow me and I speak and encourage them. I have affirmation programs. I have subconscious reprogramming your subconscious mind programs. I have holistic healing programs. And primarily, a lot of my clients, what we do is we work on inner child healing. That is my specialty. Um, and so I am actually hosting a retreat coming up soon, April 16th, 2022, in New Jersey. And it is an inner child healing retreat. And I'm a meditation practitioner. And so we're going to be doing a lot of meditation. I'm a Reiki practitioner. And I have Reiki bowls and we do Reiki healing. And so primarily what we're going to focus on is healing that inner part of yourself from your younger years that you've never touched, because for the most part, many of us as we become adults, we just are set in our ways, and we have these flashbacks of things that's happened to us from a child, and we'll put up a defense mechanism, not realizing it's because of your inner child hurt, your inner child trauma. And so what we do at Survivor Not by Chance is we focus on doing inner child healing to release and then make space to receive.
Yeah, that sounds very fun. Definitely. Like
It is
it's a
hard
lot.
work.
I have a close friend. He's a Reiki teacher as well. You probably
Mm.
know him, so we'll talk about that behind the scenes. He be doing his thing. So like I said before when we started the show, I said you got so much substance, and it's like, oh man, try to get everything in one show. Do you guys do your podcast weekly?
Yes, so we do record weekly. And primarily the first season of my show, I recorded a monologue, really. And when I started the show as a precursor to my book. So I started creating my show in 2019. I started writing my book years ago, but then, when they transitioned from the hard, big rock computers to these laptops, I lost some of the stuff.
Wow.
So I wanted to use the podcast as a way of me breaking out of my shell and to start my own inner healing. And it was intentional. I said, I'm going to use this as a precursor to my book to help me heal. So the podcast was first season was just a monologue, and I had one interview guest, and that was at the end, which was my biological mother. That
I
you
should.
got to get
That's
to
the
that.
one I should have listened to.
Yeah, you got to get to that one.
That's the one I should listen. I'm gonna definitely listen to it.
And then now my current season, we do interviews. We interview other survivors. So the purpose of the show is to inspire. And so I have so many different guests that come from so many different backgrounds, from so many different parts of the world, literally. I've had guests from the United Kingdom. I've had guests from California. I've had guests from Texas, like all over. And they share their experiences of what happened to them and how they became to who they are, to inspire, because we don't have enough inspiration. We have enough of, the extra stuff out there amongst our people. I'll leave it at that. But we need more inspiration.
And you guys, this is Asiya Carroll. This is her website on the screen. Please make sure you check her out. Just to give you a glimpse of some of the stuff she's doing. Like I said, she's doing a lot. She really, if you listen to her podcast, it's gonna tap into a place within everybody of emotion, because she is very, very truthful with her situation. As she was, and when you heard her explain it, where can we purchase your book?
So the book is available on Amazon. You can also go to my website and click a link, and it will automatically take you to Amazon as well. I think it's available on Walmart as well. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I did see it on Walmart. I don't know how they got my book, but they got it.
That's a good thing. I
Yeah.
stay in the book section in Walmart, to be honest with you. I'm a Barnes and Noble person, but I stay in Walmart. Their little book section be having some good stuff in there.
Yep. So I do want to say one more thing really quickly, if you don't mind. So I do want to invite anyone that's listening. I have a weekly meditation session that I do, and I have a group of people, and it's on a Zoom call. You can click the link in my bio if you need more information. I will be posting a link for this week. We record on, I'm sorry, not record. We host it on Thursday nights at 9:30 p.m. and it's free. It's no charge for you to come to the meditation. And the way that I do meditation is different. A lot of people come as first timers and they're like, wow, this literally changed my life. I'm literally seeing my life change for the better as a result coming to the meditations. Meditation changed my life. So I encourage everyone to at least give it a try.
Great. And like I said, Asia, we appreciate you joining the show. Um, I want you to stay on because I want to finish conversation with you behind the scenes. You guys, um, we appreciate you guys joining the show. Like I said,
Thank you so much.
and I'm gonna continue saying it, even for those in the rebroadcast. This young lady has a lot of substance. You know how we say somebody got a lot going on, and we don't
Yeah.
say it in a good way. We say it because they can't concentrate. But what I mean by her, she has her hands in a lot of different things, and she's really trying to make a difference. And my mission statement when Let's Talk first started was basically to highlight ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and
Mm,
I really appreciate her and what she's doing in the community and how she's trying to make a difference. You can't change the world, but you can change the person one by one, and you can help and assist the person one by one to get to where they feel they need to be. And Asia, I really appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being here.
I'm gonna give my cousin your information.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, King.
With that, everybody in the chat, thank you and take care, Asia. Don't hang up.